Alright guys, so I'm kind of confused right now. My grandma was telling me about this stuff called, I can't believe it's butter. Grandma, I was wanting to try that. I can't believe it's butter. I've already tried that. I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh.
So what happened? What happened to I can't believe it is butter? Wait a minute. What are you doing?
It's really, I can't believe it's not butter.
So, you mean to tell me you were lying? Were you lying?
Oh,
You what?
I was wrong.
What's the difference?
I wasn't lying, I was wrong.
But what's the difference between lying and being wrong?
I forgot what the name was.
Yeah, but what's the difference between lying and being wrong? Because aren't lies wrong?
You're not purposely lying.
But
You're just wrong about something.
But aren't lies wrong? Because that's what makes them a lie, because they're wrong, right?
Well, yeah.
So, what you were informing me, it was wrong. So, therefore, it's a lie, right?
No.
It's not? Gesundheit. Oy vey. So guys, if you go to the store and you see I can't believe it's butter, make sure to pick it up, because I want to try that stuff.
Well, it's really, I can't believe it's not butter.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
There's a knot in there.
No, what's the difference in the ingredients? Because I was wanting to. So does that mean the company that makes I can't believe it's not butter has a I can't believe it is butter also?
No.
They don't?
Wrong, James.
Gosh dang it, I was wanting to try that though.
Well, I'm sorry.
Why do you do this to me? You get my hopes up for nothing.
Well, go buy I can't believe it's not butter.
No.
Yeah, because it's good. It tastes like butter. It does.
I want to try I can't believe it is butter. That's what I want to try.
Well, there is no such thing.
What happened to it?
It's gone. I was wrong.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm sorry, honey.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
I was wanting to try that stuff. One time, my grandma went to America. And you know what she said? She sailed the 7 seas. Remember when you sold when you sailed the 7 seas?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, I can't spend no money for the rest of the month if I want to pay rent.
Yeah.
Can't spend money. Can't. I need to be strict anyway. It ain't gonna be hard. I messed up at the beginning of the month. You know,
Yeah.
I went out to eat a lot. I learned from it. I learned that that's not the way of self-love. And I need to focus on drinking more water, taking care of my health, and you know what?
What?
I was at the dollar store, and I saw those singles to go, with the powder for your water.
Yeah.
A&W makes a root beer one and a cream soda one.
They do?
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
I was thinking about using that for when I want a soda. Just put that in.
Where do you find that at?
Dollar General.
Dollar General has it?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness!
Kroger has it too. I've seen it at Kroger before too.
Oh. A&W root beer?
Mhm. Yep.
And cream soda?
Yep. They got cream soda too.
Oh man, that would be good.
Decadent. One. So instead of going to Wally World, I went home, made a bowl of oatmeal,
Good.
and I need to be more frugal, humble myself even more. I don't need the finer eatings. I don't need any of that. I need to focus on just bettering myself as an individual.
There you go, James.
And what I really need to do is I need to take my fasting to the next level. That's when the stuff will kick in. I mean, yeah.
What's the next level?
I mean, be more strict with it.
Oh.
Like today with the cookies, I didn't need those. I mean, yeah, I had the fasting amount and stuff. I had good fasting times, but the foods I ate, not good. It's one thing to fast and eat whatever you want. I mean, sure, you'll lose weight and whatnot, but you're not giving your body the nutrition it needs.
Oh.
There was a video on Instagram of them saying, it was one of the bodybuilders I follow, and he was like, you think bodybuilding is easy? You think eating the same foods every day is easy? This is a very hard, very, very hard thing to get into, and not everyone can stomach it. I don't eat food for taste. I eat for nourishment. And I'm like, that's what because I used to be that way. And you know what? Mom and Dad would try to snap me out of it. Tell me, Grandma.
Why?
Because, and you know it, Grandma, because my mom will talk to you Like she said, yeah, James eats the same thing every single day. And I tell him, James, there's more to vegetarian food than just eating the same thing. It's like, but don't worry, I'm going to find myself. I'm going to eventually be back how I was. But it's just easier.
What, eating the same thing every day?
Yeah, it's simple. When I used to do that.
Yeah.
Just now, it's just hard to get back into that mentality. It's like once I was homeless, it's like all that, the dieting I did and stuff, it was like it all just went out the window. Because it was like, I needed to eat whatever I could get my hands on that didn't require cooking. But I remember I used to always buy, okay, so Kroger has like the rice and vegetables and the noodles and vegetables. I would pile up on those in the refrigerator and I would just eat them, put a little sweet and sour sauce on them, I'm good to go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're like $1 each.
Oh.
And it gives you a really good portion of it. Like with how I eat now, I could probably break up one of those bags for 2 days. Like,
Yeah, but is one of those bags just for one meal?
no, it's for our family.
Oh, a family.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you know. It's like a side thing, like side dish.
Uh-huh.
You guys are only $1 at Kroger. But I remember for 3 years. You remember when I was like super duper big, like real big?
Yeah.
I remember there was a time where I was on supplements. I was eating oatmeal with every single meal. I was eating 6 meals a day, and I always had oatmeal on the side of everything I ate.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That's how I got real big. Oatmeal is the trick. Carbs are the trick. I miss my grandma like an $80 bill, though.
Oh.
That's how when people like talk crap about carbs and stuff, it's like, carbs? Okay, well then don't eat carbs. But really, carbs are really good for getting bigger because it feeds your muscles.
Yeah.
Protein adds muscle. But that's how I got super duper big. But I tell you, after 3 years of eating nothing but oatmeal on the side of everything, I didn't want to touch oatmeal.
Oh, I bet.
On the 3rd year, mm-mm.
You got burnt out, huh?
Yep. Well, see, these bodybuilders stomach that. Like, they force themselves. I'm like, I got to get back into that. I mean, of course, I'm not working out like I used to work out because, face it, I was only working out that crazy because I was severely paranoid. I wasn't doing it for the health. I was doing it because I was paranoid.
Oh.
I started working out when I was paranoid because when I was in high school, I'm thinking, oh man, I was a senior. I'm like, wow, if high school was this rough, man, adulthood must be super rough. So that's when it was my New Year's resolution to just start bodybuilding, and I just started lifting weights like crazy, like a maniac. It wasn't because I wanted to, it was because I was in fear of what adulthood was going to bring to the table.
Oh.
Like I thought I was going to be fighting all kinds of people. Because I hated high school. High school, all it was me beating up people, because I didn't like how people treated me. And people thought like I would cower down. No, I wouldn't take that. I'll never forget though, there was one time like I scared the crap out of one of those kids at school when I was in school. I scared the crap out of him because when people would mess with me, they don't know who they're messing with. But high school was not fun for me. It was not at all.
It wasn't?
No.
Oh.
High school was the worst. That's why I was so paranoid on my senior year. Where am I going to go from here? I'm either going to get beat up by grown adults who've been working, these blue collar jobs like dad works. I'm going to have these guys trying to fight me and stuff. It's like everyone wants to fight me. It's like people in high school. And that's how I thought adulthood was, because high school programmed my mind to think like that.
Oh.
Yep. So that's why I worked out like a maniac. Doing I remember I used to do 500 push-ups before I would go to school. I remember when I was in college, I would do 500 push-ups before I would go in, and then I'd play a card game that I remember learning from the hospital, from this dude, PJ. Now, I was introduced to him, at the beginning of high school, but it was a mentality that I took and I learned from him. Basically what we would do to pass time in the hospital is we would get a deck of cards, and you'd shuffle up the deck of cards and you put them face down. And whatever number you pull, that's how many push-ups you have to do. So we would be doing push-ups all the time in the hospital, and that's one thing that I learned from there. And that game was from him, because that's all we would do when we were in our dorm.
What did you do if you pulled a king or a queen?
That was 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In ace, you could choose 1 or 11. But the thing was, we always chose 11 when it was ace, because if you chose 1, you're going to look weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned. That's the fun little game I learned. And I would do that. Well, yeah, I would work out like a maniac because I was paranoid that I was going to be getting in a fight with someone. Like Grandma, it's like everywhere I go, I always had a weapon in my pocket. Everywhere I went. Because I was that paranoid.
Uh-huh.
Now, come the realization, outside of all of that, adulthood ain't even like that. High school messed up my head. Not only from how I was raised and everything, high school messed up my head. So let's see. The stuff that went on in my household, had to deal with that. What I dealt with in school, that's a whole nother ball game that messed my head up. And then after school, I had all the stuff with the relationship and stuff that I was, my very first relationship, all that, everything. It's just, I can never take a mental break. It's just man. But now everything's finally getting better. It's about time.
Well, good.
Grandma, it's a lot to take in. It is a lot to take in. But it's man.
You graduated.
Yep. I graduated with a severe mental illness.
I'm proud of you for graduating.
It wasn't easy. But that's another thing that really makes me, I need to let go of the past. Gotta let go of the past. That's irrelevant. I don't need to bring it up.
Yeah.
It's the past. What happened, happened. I'm moving forward. But it still irritates me to this when hearing my mom say that, she cares so much about this fellow employee who's emotionally unstable. But it's like, Mom, what about me? Like, that's the only thing that really irritates me. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, she said that like right around me too, and it's like, okay, but what about me? Like, what about me? And it's like she's gonna be there for someone she works with, but like me, I've been doing all this solo because of my parents' denial on it all. And it's like, that's rough.
Yeah, that would be.
But whatever. Everything's paying off. Everything's getting better. I'm making a bunch of friends. People like my music. And that's one thing that I never got when I was living with Mom and Dad. They didn't once want to hear any of my writings or nothing because it was nothing good. But it's like the stuff that I was writing about growing up, like, I don't understand how they couldn't find that as a severity. I guess that would be why Mom just would choose not to want to read it. She didn't want to look at my writings. She didn't want to look at any of that. Mom didn't want anything to do with my writings. And I don't know why. The only person who would look at my writings was Brian. He's not even blood.
Yeah.
Brian was the one who told me, James, you need to get help. Because not only did he know me as a person, he saw my writings. And when you would look at my writings that I was doing the whole time growing up, something's not right here.
Yeah.
But it's like,
really?
That's kind of why I don't think, because Mom and Dad have never been to any of my performances. None. When I performed at that play, it was like pulling teeth to even get them to come.
Did they go?
Yeah, after I argued with them.
Well,
of course,
at least when.
Yeah, but I argued with them. But then, like, now my caseworkers told me how to respond to those things. But I don't think, at that time I didn't have a caseworker. I was just seeing the therapist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like pulling teeth to get them to come show their support. I didn't get it. It's like everything I've just been doing solo. Of course, now I got support. Just none of that support, you're the only blood support. I don't get it. It's like, well, I mean, it's kind of like, I remember when I was growing up, I remember Dad, he would try to get me to drink with him and stuff. I never wanted to do it because, I would, well, Grandma, I would see I grew up seeing how he was when he was drunk. That didn't look like fun. I didn't want to do that. Like, it never appealed to me.
It's not fun.
But see, this is the thing, though, Grandma. You know how you're supposed to have father and son time and blah, blah, blah. Well, since I didn't want to drink, he would cling to the next door neighbor's son, and they would drink together and stuff. And I thought that was kind of bizarre in a way. But at the end of the day, I was on the computer all day anyway, so I was like, whatever. It's like Dad has this visual. I think that he wanted me to be a little him.
Probably.
Instead of me being a better version of him. Because, it's kind of like with what my tattoo artist did, this is just an example. So, like, when I went in, I'm telling them, oh, man, I want the tattoo in all caps and stuff. Well, he showed me when he did Old English in all caps. And, like, he says, eventually, man, it's already going to be super duper hard to read, man. And I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made, on my journey with tattoos. That's kind of what Dad should have done, you wouldn't want to pressure your son to make the same mistakes you did and stuff. Like, why would you want to do that?
Yeah, really.
So when he clinged to the next door neighbor's kid, like, he was always hanging out with them, drinking and everything. And then when Brian started to come over, Dad started to cling to him because Brian would drink. But the thing is, and see, this is another thing that I really didn't understand. Because he was drinking with Dad sometimes, Brian, at the end of the day, he had writings to do. And then hearing my dad, talk about, oh, hey, you leave him alone. He writes several pages a day, and, like, he's talking about how much he writes and stuff and all this stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, geez, where was my support? Like, look at all the stuff I wrote. Like, all y'all just want to do is ignore it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get that. Like, I've always wrote stuff. It's just my parents never wanted to, because that was one of the things that got me admitted into the hospital when I was in middle school, because my writings were they were just horrible. And the only reason my parents found my writings was because I think they went in my bedroom to clean my room when we were, like, I think me and Joy were somewhere. But yeah, they found my writings when they were cleaning my room. And next thing you know, I'm having to go get help and all this stuff because of my writings. And it's like, so you guys see the severity of, and the thing was, is it was like from a middle schooler. But it's like, I was continuing to write, but they just chose to ignore because they knew what type of writings I was doing. But they just wanted to ignore and just kind of hide the fact of the stuff I was writing. So pretty much they wanted me to live how I wanted to live, write whatever I wanted to write, but not see the severity of the problem. It took someone who wasn't blood come in the picture, because me and him wrote, so we would talk about writings like all the time. And then sometimes Dad would try to jump in, but Dad don't know nothing about writings and stuff. Dad just wanted to like drink. And so, Brian would go accompany him, because Brian did that stuff. And I don't know. It's just like I didn't understand. Like, it's just like to see Dad respect someone who's not blood in their writing. It's like you didn't respect my writings. It's like, I don't get it. But at the end of the day, I can't cry about it or I can't do nothing about it, because at the end of the day, you got to be your biggest fan. And that's what I've learned.
Yep.
I got to be my biggest fan. I had to do everything by myself. Everything by myself.
But you're doing it, James.
Oh, I know. I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
battled the anxiety of going places where I would never go and everything. And it's just like,
Yep.
so, but I had to cheer myself on to go, but look where I'm at now.
I know.
Look where I'm at now.
You're getting to be a social butterfly.
And now my writings have changed for the better. I mean,
That's right.
my writings are so good right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you see where you've come from,
Mm-hmm.
how far you've come.
Yep. Yep, I do. And I'm going to keep going because I like how everything's going, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like kind of, I mean, even my caseworker kind of pinpoints it. Like, it's one thing to, disregard my ex because she's not blood. But also what my caseworker is also trying to teach me to do is to disregard, my family's judgment and stuff. And she said, James, I know that's going to be hard, but you got to learn to do that in order to proceed. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I just got to tell them no. Got to follow, what I want to follow. At the end of the day, I'm my biggest fan, and that's it.
There you go.
Yep. Ugh. I'll never forget the time my grandma went to America and she jumped on the yacht. It was a big yacht out in the Pacific Ocean. And it was a big party. It was a party for extravagant people. And my grandma only got the RSVP to join that yacht party because, well, face it, my grandma's one of the coolest people in the world. So grandma gets these special invitations, especially at the resort that she lives at right now. My grandma lives in a resort you probably never heard of. The reason why that is because it's really connected with the country club. My grandma's always been a member of the country club. And within the country club, there comes like these, what are they called? Like clubs. There's clubs within the country club. And they have secret clubs. And they got all kinds of different clubs. Well, my grandma was in one of the secret clubs where you get access to these resorts and everything, and that people never heard of, and it's only members of the country club that reside in these resorts and stuff. So they pretty much drown out, society from knowing about these resorts, but they only keep the country club in. That's why you have to join the country club to know what goes on at these other resorts. The resort my grandma lives at, I'm not going to put the name out because I don't want anyone to go find the resort that my grandma lives at, but it's owned by R.P. Hamilton. And if you know who R.P. Hamilton is, he is a very well-respected guy in the country club. He was one of the first generations within the country club. And he actually founded all of these resorts, and he sworn them to secrecy. And like the resort that my grandma lives on, it's next to a beach. She has a pool table in her apartment. She's got she's got an upstairs and a downstairs. It's a very big apartment too. Like it pretty much looks like a 2-story house, but it's an apartment. Like lavish life. My grandma lives the lavish life. And there's a pool like outside also. So if you don't want to go swim in the beach, which is connected to the ocean, Well, then there's a little pool you can go swim in too. Oh, and my grandma has her own personal hot tub upstairs too. My grandma's big, big, big into the hot tubs. She has the hot tub. It's actually a very fancy brand. It's called Boule Chez Favu 3000, and it has all kinds of these pump jets and you name it. It's nice because I remember when I went to go visit her when I went to Illinois. Um, I said, Grandma, I want to try out the hot tub. She was like, all right, it's upstairs. And I tell you what, when I tried that hot tub, it was one of the best experiences ever. I'll never ever go into a regular hot tub ever again. Once I tried the Ule Poo 3000, it was amazing. And then I got to meet my grandma's chef. He was a pretty nice guy, very excellent cook. Oh, did I tell you my grandma's actually a professional surfer? That's right. My grandma surfs at the Pacific Ocean where her resort resides, and she's actually a part of the professional surf team. The name of the surf team, I don't know if you ever heard of it. You probably have to be a part of the country club in order to know about these activities that go on, but I'm filling you guys in. But she's a part of the team called the Surfing Tigers. Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the country club. But my grandma's one of the best surfers out there. She actually had a tournament like last month, and she really did a great job. I didn't get to see it, but my grandma told me about the live access that you can get on from the internet through the country club. You have to be invited to go see these type of things because the country club's already secret. You know, when you drive past the country club, it's all gated and stuff. Like there's trees. They don't want you to know what's going on over there. They got secret parties. They're so secret because secrets are cool. All the cool cats have secrets. My grandma has tons of secrets. But believe it or not, I know majority of them. I know secrets that her own kids don't even know. Because me and grandma, we are best friends. Best friends tell each other secrets. But yeah, my grandma, she was a part of a professional golf team. She's a professional surfer. Grandma's a fisherman. She likes fishing on her free time. She don't eat the fish. She really likes the satisfaction of, tricking the fish to bite a hook. She finds it humorous. My grandma thinks it's funny because I remember her talking to her friend Steven. There's this guy that's in the resort. His name is Steven. And him and my grandma always come up with ways to trick the fish into biting hooks because they think it's funny. My grandma's pretty cool. She's one of the coolest people ever.
Thank you, James.
Amen. My grandma's a professional motorcycle racer too. She actually she races not for the country club because now we're on the rebellious side of my grandma too. She has a country club lifestyle and then she has an outside lifestyle where she hangs out with the biker gangs and stuff. My grandma was actually a member of one of the roughest, toughest biker gangs known to man. And they're called the Biker Hogs. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But these guys, tough. My grandma was the only female in there. And the only reason why she was in was because my grandma used to be a bodybuilder. She used to bodybuild under the Hulkman Gambino. You can look it up. She actually won Decatur, Illinois' strongest competitive bodybuilder in 1982. And she actually was a part of that biker gang even before then. But yeah, they love racing. They like um, they like making the cops chase them. I remember the time we got pulled over when we were in Illinois. Like I was in the passenger seat and Grandma was driving, and next thing you know, we're getting pulled over by the cop, and the cop looks at her and she says, "I know who you are." And Grandma was like, "All right, all right, all right." And I was like, "Grandma, what was that all right about?" And she's like, "Well, James, I got a confession to make." I'm like, "What?" And she was like, "I've been a member of a biker gang for years." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, we're called the Biker Hogs." And she pulled up her sleeve and she had a hog riding a bike. And I guess that's their tattoo emblem. And everyone in the biker gang has that tattoo. So if you see my grandma on the streets, tell her to show the tattoo. But I'm going to tell you, when you tell her to show you her tattoo, you're going to see a big old bicep. Like my grandma's very muscular. So don't get punched in the face, because my grandma loves fighting. My grandma's a scrapper. That's how she named her pet, her dog Scrappy, because my grandma was always a scrapper. Grandma used to be just hanging out in the alley, always looking for a fight, and they called my grandma Scrapper. And one day she found this little Pekingese dog, and everyone was like, "Hey, the Scrapper found a dog. You need to name it Scrappy." And so that's what she named it. Now at the time when they found him, like my grandma was this huge, muscular bodybuilder. Like I mean, she was on all kinds of supplements. No one messed with my grandma. Like I mean, rough, tough. Like like her hands are so gigantic. Like she could crush your face with like one hand. Like it's crazy. Right? But yeah. Grandma's always been into bodybuilding, fighting. She still gets into fights. They got like an underground fight scene, but that goes on. But not really supposed to talk about it because it's something that's secret within the country club. It's the country club has this. Well, I'm gonna put it on the spot. So the country club kind of has this what's the word for it? These clubs where they have people who have hobbies towards like the violent side of things, like fighting and fist fighting and fighting with weapons. Like my grandma's joined all those clubs. Grandma, remember that time when you got into a fight with Albert Robinson with the nunchucks? My grandma beat the brakes off of that guy. I mean, I was like, holy moly. Like my grandma was like in like complete mania when she was finished with that guy. Like you couldn't even recognize the guy's face when she was done with him. Like he was just out of it. You know, the best believe though, like if you're ever in my like with my grandma, you're gonna feel protected. My grandma used to be a bodyguard for some of the best fighters. Like I do know she used to be Mike Tyson's bodyguard for a while. Um After the incident with Holyfield when he bit off his ear, yeah, he had to hire some bodyguards because a lot of people did not like that act of violence that he did. Well, if you didn't know, Mike Tyson was actually a part of the country club, and that's where he found out about my grandma and her and her her background and stuff with the country club and the club that she was in. He approached her and said, "Hey, how would you like to be my bodyguard?" And my grandma was his bodyguard for a while until everything settled down. Like my grandma went on tour with them, everything. Like grandma made sure that no one messed with them, and people were scared of them because all my grandma did was have to just show up. My grandma was a very well respected person. You probably heard of her, but you probably only know her under Hocwwid Gambino. But look it up under on the internet or something. You'll see my grandma. She's the one with the big muscles. She might have some facial hair too. Cause there was a time where my grandma where she was popping too much testosterone pills, and she had some stubble going because she was popping too much testosterone pills. I mean, she was huge. Like my grandma, like I remember when Uncle Mark was dabbling with weightlifting. My grandma taught him everything he knew. My grandma taught him about the egg sandwiches, you know, what to do when you're working out, how many push-ups, how much you need to lift. Like I remember going downstairs in the basement and I would see my grandma just bench pressing 1,000 pounds like it was nothing. I was like, holy moly. I was just a little kid and I'm like, wow, my grandma's strong. But yeah, my grandma was down there just working out, pumping iron, eating raw chicken. Grandma loved raw chicken. I remember the day she when she got to meet my grandpa's mom. They're Puerto Rican, and they had chickens running around, and Grandma Levo chopped one of the chicken's head off and let the chicken run around till he died. And my grandma just took that as an invitation to start eating the chicken as it was. And like Grandma Levo was impressed. And she saw my grandma just being a carnivore eating this helpless, headless chicken. And she said, I give you permission to marry my son. And my grandma looked up, like with blood all over her mouth and stuff. And she was like, really? And she was like, yeah, you marry my son. You a good woman. My grandma cool. Ema?
Yeah,
Mer, you're the best.
I am.
Yee. I like story time about my grandma. I just want to show everyone in the world that how cool she is. Ain't that right, Momo? Ain't that right, Momo?
And it's all fiction.
What?
It's all fiction.
How can you say that?
Because I just want to let everybody know that it's fiction.
No, it's not.
Well, it's in your imagination.
Well, Grandma, how can I talk about it so quick if it's fake?
I know. Isn't that amazing?
How can I talk about it so quick if it's fake? I'm not doing ums and ahs and everything. Like, it's coming out natural. So how is it fake?
Yeah, I guess.
So see, it's real, right?
That's what it seems like.
So it is, right? Grandma, tell everyone that it's real.
I can't say that, James.
Well, what would Donald Trump do?
He would lie about it.
You know what's funny, Momo? So, like, at work today, I sell jewelry and stuff sometimes, and this one woman, she asked me today, So where are you from? I said Georgia. And she was like, oh, great. Oh, great. Don't you just love our President Trump? Isn't he so amazing and all this stuff? And I'm just like, that's irrelevant to jewelry for number one. And I was just like, he's our president. That's all I said. And she's like, yeah, he's so amazing and all this stuff. But who calls a place that sells jewelry to talk politics? Like, it's like,
I don't know.
don't make any sense.
Where was she from?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe the loony bin? Because who calls the jewelry line to talk about politics?
I don't know.
Hey. But yeah, I'm going to get this money management stuff done. My friend wants me to kind of chill out with the messages and stuff that I've been sending the crush, but I don't know. I kind of just like how things are going. Probably wouldn't hurt to take a break. Well, like, see, some of my friends at work, they were like, oh, keep writing her songs and stuff. That's romantic and stuff. But my friend, she was like, no. I know how James gets. He don't need to be doing that right now. He don't need to be doing that. But I'm like, man, I'm telling you, it's different. I'm telling you. Like, this woman actually responds pretty much daily. I don't know. I'll probably talk to her about it, see if everything's fine. But she did inform me, like, as long as I'm keeping track of everything and I'm staying productive with my hobby, she don't mind at all. So, yeah. It's like she sees the positive impact that she makes on me and she wants to continue to encourage it because she sees me setting goals and everything. Like I'm really, I don't know, I'm really, really wanting to, work my hardest,
Yeah.
Because to be honest,
You do work hard,
a woman of her stature does not deserve a boy. She needs a man. And I, maybe one day, would like to be that man. But the only way that you can be that man is you got to work on yourself. And you got to continue making progress. And you got to continue to make progress. You should have saw me today at work. I was getting sales back to back when I was on the protection line. I was getting sales. And like my friend was like, oh, good job. And I said, yeah, thanks. I'm doing it for my crush. Gotta be a better guy. Gotta stay focused. Gotta do this. It's like I just want to accomplish. I want to get back. I want to get that because I remember when me and my ex were in a relationship. I remember I was working 2 jobs. Man, we went out. We did everything, man, when I was, like trying to get on her good side and stuff with the, everything. We did everything. But it's when, it all went downhill. That's when things just got, I don't know. I remember we went out a lot. We were always up in Buford. I was working 2 jobs. Like, it was nice. But I don't know. It's like I can finally redo all that and not worry about, it's like I can finally do that again and not worry about like backlash. Because that's what killed it. That's what killed the mood. Like when there was the backlash. Like it's like my whole demeanor slowly started to adjust. I remember when I called Dad the first time, like in tears, and I was like, yeah, she broke up with me. I don't know why. Like, he kept saying I was cheating and stuff when I wasn't. Like, I just the day before, we were up in Buford having a great time, and all of a sudden, I didn't answer a phone call, and all of a sudden, I was cheating and stuff, and I was just crying, and I don't remember what Dad said, but it was like, I don't know, it's like I can finally relive that innocent part again, because that's the thing about it, is like, before I even got with her, like, my 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 visual on relationships is all a Disney movie. Like, the man has to be, there for her, support her, prove his loyalty, you know, just do everything like that, like in the Disney movies. And so I abided by that. But when stuff happened that is not in Disney movies, like, I didn't know how to react. So what it would do is it would push me in an episode, because it's like, wait a minute, this isn't supposed to go down like that. And like, I would just get in an episode. and then you got someone who's mentally ill and someone who's mentally ill going back and forth. And it's not good. But it's like, now I'm on medication. I have someone who appreciates the innocence, because it's like, I don't know, it's just something that she don't see. Like, someone, how I talk, my demeanor, it's like it's all different. They're not used to this. And I don't know, I think it's a sign to say, it's a sign a higher power is looking over, and they're like saying, all right, James, you stood strong. You didn't get lured back into the past. Just keep pushing, and you'll see it's going to pay off. And it's like, I'm starting to have those feelings again of giddiness, because believe it or not, before I even got with, my ex, I was doing the same thing. I was writing her all kinds of songs, because writing is the only way how I can properly express my emotions. But see, what my crush has been helping me on is to vocalize those emotions instead of writing it out, which is why I kind of get carried away with writing all these songs and stuff, because I don't know how to vocalize those emotions. But she's helping me with that. So it's really cool. So it's kind of like I can relive that first relationship experience again and not worry, And of course, it's not a relationship yet, but do you get what I'm saying, though? It's not a relationship yet, but
I get what you're saying.
yeah. So it was like everything paid off. Did you play solitaire today?
No, but I was going to.
My grandma's one of the best solitaire players ever. You sound tired.
I am. It's 2:00, honey.
Wait a minute. You didn't take your breathing treatment.
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I don't know. I forgot about it.
Yeah, but you've been doing that a lot lately. Well, just so you know, I look up to you and stuff, and I didn't take my medicine yesterday.
James.
What?
Now, I take my medicine.
Oh,
You ought to take the medicine.
Wait a minute, breathing treatment isn't a medicine?
Well, yeah.
I mean, Grandma, you gotta think, like, you gotta always live like someone's looking up to you. You got Marco looking up to you, got me looking up to you. So what you do might influence certain behaviors.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Well, then, Grandma,
I'll do it now.
There you go. Go do that breathing treatment.
You want to hang on?
Go do that breathing treatment. You see how it works, guys? You see how that works? Just me wording it. Because I want my grandma to be the hero that she is.
All right.
See that?
Hang on. I'm going to go get everything.
That's my hero right there. That's my hero right there. See, I knew I wasn't irritating her with my story and me going on and on about that and my experience and all that stuff. She's just tired because her lungs are, like, hurting and whatnot. Ugh, gosh, Grandma, why you do this to me? Ugh, freaking day. Even though I know it's not an excuse for me not to skip my medicine, I have a total different reason why I'm not taking my medicine, because I got to hold off. See, I was supposed to see my caseworker Monday, but the thing is she wasn't in office, so I didn't get to put in my slip to see the doctor. I'll probably call up tomorrow to schedule something to go see the doctor this Monday, because that's another thing, you know. Me and my crush are past the episodes now. I don't need to be in episodes, even though it don't bother her. She gets me out of them pretty quick. But it's like I got to show that, you know, I'm emotionally stable. I don't know. It's like everyone has their own ideology on, like, relationships and stuff. Like, I have one of my friends, he don't really believe in, like, you know, relationships or anything. And, like, this dude's been helping me out a ton, but see, I can't get into that type of mentality, because, like, what he gets from a relationship isn't what I get from it at all. Like, for me, it's a total different experience that, like, I don't think anyone else really, or it's probably a rare percentage of people who get the same feelings that I get out of it. Like, it's a whole different ball game. It's like a whole different, it's different. It's just hard to explain. But, anyway. It's like the typical relationship and stuff is not what tends to get me, you know, going. Like, it's hard to explain what I get out of a relationship. Like, it's really hard for me to explain, but it's different. That's kind of why I really don't like starting over with relationships and stuff, because, I mean, I've only had one relationship, and, you know, once that's one thing that kept pulling me back in, because it's like, well, this person knows, you know, everything that, you know, how the relationship is. They know how it is. I don't have to go through all the awkward stages and vocalizing certain things, you know, that might be considered awkward for a lot of people. But what I found out over the years is the relationship always starts off as awkward, but eventually you guys learn to abide by one another, and that's how compatibility works. So, I mean, that's one thing that I'm working on. A couple of my friends are helping me vocalize certain things, and it just basically get a better understanding of who I am emotionally, because, like, I'm only really good at writing, and there's a reason behind that, because all my life, like, as a kid, growing up, when I got into the virtual reality games, like all that stuff was text based. Like, so all my relationships were always text based. I never vocalized anything to anyone. It was all text based. So that's kind of why it's so hard for me to vocalize certain emotions and stuff by not writing it down, because I'm not very much a vocal person when it comes to my emotions, because I don't know. It's kind of like growing up, like I always just thought I wasn't worthy. That was a main thing that was holding me back. I wasn't worthy, and self-hatred. Like, I mean, I was like, I hated myself, hated it. And I always thought I wasn't worthy. So when I like saw someone who I might have a crush on, I would automatically just reject myself from even doing anything, not even testing out the option, because I don't know, that's just how I was. But due to those kind of responses that I did growing up and what I was introduced to on these virtual world games and everything, and like I was introduced to, well, stuff my caseworker says, yeah, James, that stuff that you experience on the virtual world game at a young age like that could definitely mess up a kid's brain, because like, you know, kids lie on those type of video games all the time about their age. I was one of them. And so I got it, like, introduced to stuff that was like, you know, someone my age isn't used to. So I don't know. It's like I get a whole different ball game when it comes to a relationship. It's a whole different thing. But the thing is, it's hard to even get me, like, the emotional bond that I have with my crush right now. Like, she gets the gist of it. She gets the gist of it. And I have no problem being myself around her at all. And it's an amazing feeling, and I want to see where things go, because I actually really, really like how things are going. But, you know, when I see her this Thursday, you know, I'm probably work on vocalizing stuff, because that's one thing that I tend to do, because I'm so used to writing out my emotions. I'll text her all day. I could easily just text out all these emotions and everything. But vocally, I can't vocalize crap. It's a whole different ball game. But the thing is, like now, like coming into a reality standpoint, stable people don't text back to back to back to back like that. The only reason why I can easily get into that mentality, because that's how it was in the virtual world games, you know, that I pretty much grew up on. All my relationships are on virtual reality games, so the texting back to back to back was something of the norm. But expecting that from someone who is living a stable life, you know, that's not how that works. And I'm learning to adjust. And I got friends who are helping me with vocalizing certain emotions and find myself and vocalize these, you know, battles, you know, with these obstacles that are being put towards me. But I do like how things are going, and it feels amazing. It feels really good. And I only see things getting better from here. And that's how I want to stay focused. I don't want to focus on negative. I don't want to be thinking, oh man, because there's some people who post about, you know, oh no, when things start getting good in life, you know, I start to think, oh man, what's going to happen? Like, no, I don't want to think like that. I want to think things are only going to get better from here, and they're going to keep getting better and keep getting better, because I gotta have that drive. Like, if you want someone, if you want that person, don't be sitting there, waiting for them to come around. You got to pursue it. You got to show them. Like, life is short. Girls like to be woed and stuff. Period. They're not going to sit back and, it's not going to work how it does in your mind. Women like things on suspense. They like stuff out of the normal. They like that stuff. And these are just tips that I've learned from these tutorials on YouTube. Like, I learned more stuff on how to be a man and on YouTube tutorials, and how to talk to women on YouTube tutorials. Like, everything is YouTube tutorials. And I tell you what, the tutorials really benefit and really help. So yeah. But I just been through so much, and seeing where I am now, it's like I'm only, like, think of it like stairs. The stairs just keep going up. So I'm going to keep walking up those stairs. At the top of those stairs is me accomplishing everything that needs to be accomplished in life. But who knows, when you get to the top of the stairs, you got to keep walking up those stairs. That's kind of what I'm doing. Like, if you see someone that, like, see, that's one thing that people have a problem with, is they're used to staying in the comfort zone instead of going towards where that fear is. Where that fear is, there is rewards. Don't go back to your comfort zone. Because what are you missing out on? You're missing out on tons of opportunities, tons of different opportunities. If you're depressed, if your life is miserable or anything, if you're lonely, it's only because you're making it that way. You got to get out of that. You got to nip that. And that's another thing, like, when I'm going on and on, texting my emotions to her, like, I'll literally tell her, okay, I got to nip this because it's being too much. But she's patient with me. It's cool. Like, that's all I've ever wanted, because I'm going to tell you this. Dating for me, and how it was for me growing up, all my dating and stuff was always on a virtual world game. I didn't have a girlfriend growing up. I didn't have none of that. So it's always been, I don't know, for example, like, hey, you want to go get a bite to eat? Like, and I hit their inbox, I want to go get a bite to eat, and they're like, okay. So we go find a chat room that's in a restaurant, and we'll go eat and whatnot, and then we can probably go to a movie. So then we would go find a chat room that has a movie theater and all this stuff, and it would be like just a simplistic date. But see, in reality, it's a whole different story. Like, I've been stood up so many times, like, it's not even funny. And the thing is a lot of the people who are stable, they don't talk like how I talk. And the only reason why I talk in big paragraphs and stuff is because I'm so used to the virtual world game that I grew up on. Like, I learned how to do a lot of my writing from there by seeing stuff that I was exposed to there. Like, just seeing how passionate people were with love on there, like how poetic people were. Like, it's just like everything that I was exposed to there, and seeing that, that's one thing that really made me want to get better at writing, because in those virtual world games, like I remember I had this one crush on this one woman on there. Of course, I was a kid. She knew I was a freaking kid. And And but I always thought she was like so attractive because she was so poetic with her writing. And see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what this person looks like. I don't know who they are behind the screen. I don't know none of that. But how poetic she was with her writings, and like believe it or not, like that stuff is respected. Like in that lifestyle. Like if you're on those virtual world games, you got to know how to write. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be going nowhere. You could be short to the point. Yeah, they have those, but you would never get with someone who can write paragraphs upon paragraphs. And that's kind of where that whole demeanor kicked in, because being a kid, being exposed to that sort of poetry, like it was just like, wow, so that's what really woes people and stuff. So, I mean, it started off rough because I was a little kid, but, eventually, like, it became, like, something of the norm, and, like, and then, like, you know, I would be writing, like, a lot of paragraphs and stuff, and people would just love it because it's like it wasn't boring, it wasn't typical, like, it wasn't none of that. But the thing is, when it comes to the outside world, when I was, like, trying to date and stuff, and I would, like, try to talk paragraphs to these people, no one was wanting to hear the paragraphs. They want stuff to be straight to the point and everything. And then when you would ask them out on dates, half the people didn't want to go on dates. See, on the virtual world game, I was kind of used to going out on dates. I was kind of used to all that. But in reality, like, it wasn't that. And it would get me going because I'm so used to a whole different culture. Now, I know the ins and out of it all. I know how dating sites are. I know how all that is now. And now it's just a whole lot easier just to do everything face to face. Like, because to be honest, like dating sites, it's really just short to the point. But see, with coming vocalizing certain emotions and everything for me, it's super duper hard. But I am working on it. I'll never forget how happy I got when I expressed, that I had a crush on her. And I was like, wow. Like, she didn't really take it as much, like, or anything. And I'm like, and I just sat there and I was like, wow, I can't believe I told you I had a crush on you. I've never done that before, like stuff like that. And she was like, really? Oh, well, I'm proud of you, and like all this stuff. Like, because I've never done that, like, never. Like, it's so hard for me to vocalize that stuff because, like, I don't know, having so much self hatred and so much rejection, like, you reject yourself, like, of seeing yourself not worthy. Like, I don't know, even to this day, like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of bad, but I kind of like to put, like, someone that I like above me. I kind of like to lift them up. I like them to be a spotlight. I don't want to be the spotlight. But what I'm finding out is, with relationships, that it has to be both. Both parties have to be equal. But I don't know. I mean, eventually it'll probably get better, maybe. And maybe I'll get out of that demeanor. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it like that, but I know it's not. See, that's what I mean. Like, when it comes to a relationship, for me, I don't like it to be about me, because I've always hated myself and stuff. Like, I've always hated myself. So when it comes to a relationship, it's always been about her, not me. I didn't want anything to be about me, because at the end of the day, I was just thankful that someone would want to be around someone like me. And so pretty much I would just show my thankfulness. I never really looked at myself as higher, or looking at myself as like, someone of, who deserves anything. Like, usually growing up, it was always, I would just look at myself as like, some form of like, I don't know, like a burden or something like that. always looked at myself like I always hated myself. But I'm learning to find out by hanging out with people and seeing how relationships are. Like, it's not, no one has like relationships like how I depict relationships. Like, it's totally different. And, but eventually I'll get there. But the thing is, I don't want to lose that satisfaction. It's like, for me, I kind of like to always I like to always make them happy. I don't care about my happiness. I don't care about their happiness. And that's always how it's been. But for me, my happiness didn't care. But now, I don't know. I'm coming around to everything, and I'm finding like the sense of normality when it comes to everything. Like when I went to go hang out with a couple of my friends, and she was in this art show, and they were all hanging out playing trivia, and like, I'm thinking, oh well, she's a big artist and stuff. She's an artist and all this stuff, so she probably is gonna have all these dudes like, awing over her and stuff. But really, no, it's like they just talked to her like a regular human being. Like everyone was on equal levels with everybody. See, where it comes to me of someone of my mental state, like it's always like the woman should be held higher. But I'm starting to learn that it's all equal. We're all humans. We're all living. We're all, diverse. But the thing with the relationship thing, it's snapping out. Maybe it'll, get better when I do get in a relationship. Maybe. But that's the thing. That's the hard part. Like when it comes to even making that motive, like let's go get something to eat. Let's go on a date. Let's hang out. Let's do something like that. Like there's always that thing in the back of my mind that's rejecting. It's always like, don't even bother, Jade. Don't bother. Don't bother. Don't bother. Don't bother. And it's like it's that self-hatred that I've always had growing up. And I'm starting to overcome all that, and I'm starting to combat that stuff that was holding me back from even doing any of that. Because what you gotta remember, that's all in your head. Like pretty much, like I've always self-projected myself, and that's kind of what I'm trying not to do with this woman who I like. And I don't know. I try to make, when it comes to emotional conversation, I'm trying to work on everything vocal. She's been patient with me the whole time. She's been patient with me for everything. So she's just all around amazing woman. And she's seeing my progress. She's seeing how much I'm blossoming, and eventually I want to vocalize emotions instead of writing them. I want to, be able to, hey, let's go get a bite to eat. See that's the thing. Like it's something so simplistic, but the thing is like I remember I'd be talking to my friends, and I'd be like, so how do you ask someone out? Like how do you do that? Like, and my friend was like, he was like, dude, you're thinking too much into it. Like it's really simple. Like like they do it with ease. Like they're just like, here's my number. Text me if you're interested. If not, whatever. But see, like me, I don't know. I'm learning. But where I'm at right now, like I'm way ahead of all that now. And I'm learning every day. Every week is a new journey. And it's like I keep getting more emotionally stable each week. And eventually it'll all solve into one big puzzle piece. And maybe one day I will have that relationship where it not only satisfies, what I like, when it comes to, that demeanor that I was speaking of before about putting them higher, but also them bringing me up with them. Like, it's like, hey, you're up here too. Come here. And like continuing to make it equal. And eventually it will probably whip me in the shape to where I come to understand, what it's supposed to be like. To be treated as an equal, basically, if that makes any sense. Whatever you got from that, I don't know. But I'm still learning each week. Each week is a different journey. Tomorrow, karaoke. I'm excited. So, okay. I am kind of curious.
James, I'm back.
My grandma did her breathing treatment, everyone.
I did my breathing treatment.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you, Momo. And you know what? You know what, Grandma? Where's my pills? Where's my pills? I'm about to take my medicine.
Oh, good.
If my hero took her medicine, I'm about to take my medicine.
Good.
You see that, Grandma? You see that? You see how you influence me?
Yeah.
I gotta find my medicine, Momo. There it is. Oy vey. I do not have a lot of pills.
Well, you gotta make an appointment to see the doctor.
Yeah. I'll call tomorrow. I don't even know if I should be taking one. I don't know. All right. All right, I took my medicine, Momo.
Good.
So, Momo, you got anything you want to advertise?
Well, in Decatur, Illinois, there's a Dunkin' Donut restaurant, and they sell between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the evening. They sell their large drinks for 99 cents. And I usually get me a large mocha iced coffee, decaf, with 2 Splendas and some cream. And it's $1.21. And I just wanted to let you know about that.
So you guys heard it here first.
And
let's take advantage of that. I want to advertise. Oh, Grandma, do you got anything else you want to advertise?
Jesus is Lord.
There you go. Well, I want to advertise the coolest grandma in the world is on the podcast right now. She's one of the coolest people in the world. And she's going to be running for president for 2020. So make sure you vote for her. But anyway, I'm going to close this podcast off because I'm getting super tired. And my Momo's tired. So we're going to go off the air.
Good night, everybody.